Hey everyone, it's James Frederick. Thank you so much for joining me for Vivid Tranquility 5. This is the 10th season for the studio, and I can't believe it. Also, I just can't thank you enough for all of your support. Without you, I couldn't have done this, and I could never have forecast the journey that this has taken me on. It was my dream to be able to paint full-time and live in Provincetown, and I moved here over 10 years ago to try to do that. And the reception and the support has been off the charts, and I am so grateful for you and for this manifesting. So I'm an artist. I live here in Provincetown, and I paint and I draw, and I'm an illustrator, a cartoonist. But today I'm going to share with you these paintings, which are abstracts, part of the series that I call Vivid Tranquility. This is the 5th installment, and I started doing these in 2018. I was really inspired by the light and the color here in Cape Cod and in Provincetown, and I wanted to bring that quality to my work, but without being so literal, because for a few years I was painting, everything was very literal. I just wanted to capture the beauty like perfectly and realistically. And so I reverted back to my abstract roots in 2018 and started this body of work. I have about 9 pieces to take you through. They're abstract. Again, abstract work is really for you to fill with meaning. When I paint these, they're full of meaning and a lot of reference for memories and thoughts and emotions. But the color and the light and the composition will elicit in you a response that could be different than the next viewer. And I love that. I love the fact that it's kind of a mutual building of an experience. So I'm going to take you through these pieces one at a time and chat with you at the end. All right, let's start here with this piece. So this is 24 by 24, and the title of it is called Beach Forest Breeze. And for me, I was painting from kind of the memory and the feeling of being on my bike, zipping through beach forest, the light, the wind, and just the beauty of this place. So this is called Beach Forest Breeze, 24 by 24. With all of these pieces, I've done my signature like vertical convention of brush stroking, pushing and pulling the paint in more of a vertical way. And you will also see that deep, dark undercoating or conditioning that I do of the canvas. And I love that. And I love the texture that creates. So that's kind of a constant through all of these pieces. This is called Beach Forest Breeze. And then this piece, it's 16 by 16, it's called July. And I call it July because it is kind of evocative of that feeling I get when I'm out in my kayak and I paddle across the harbor, look back at P-Town, the light, the glimmering water, obviously without being very literal at all, but it's called July, 16 by 16. And then I'll take you down to this piece. I call this piece Province Lands, and it's also 16 by 16. And the color is not reading quite as orange as it really is in person, so please come see this in person. But I call it Province Lands because I feel like it contains like all of the aspects of the beautiful province lands here in the National Seashore. Ponds, sand, dunes, light. And it's kind of the feeling I get when I'm out there in the midst of it. So, province lands. It's 16 by 16. And then this piece is 30 by 30, and I call it Sunny Day. And you can kind of see why. It's the idea of, being here at the tip of the Cape with the light and the water on a beautiful sunny day. It's days like this that I pinch myself and say, how can it be that I live in paradise? So this is called Sunny Day. And this piece is called Morning Calm. It's 12 by 12, and it's the sense of a sunrise, again, without being too literal. And the sun rises here over the harbor, coming obviously from the east, but I get to see a lot of those sunrises, and this reminds me of that. So it's a morning calm before the bustle begins. This piece, I call it a sea, and it's really the sensation that I get being out on the water with the light shimmering, the reflection, just that beautiful coolness, but with this spark of light and warmth. And this piece I'll call Leading Edge. And what's beautiful about being out here in the edge of the world, if you will, the end of the Cape, is that we really get to see weather roll across the ocean and come in. And so this is called Leading Edge. And I'll let you interpret it. This next piece is fairly large. It's 30 by 36. I call it Amber Waves. I love the rich warmth in this piece. So if you've ever been basking in the sun here at the beach at Herring Cove in the summer, that is what inspired this piece. So it's not very literal, but there are ideas of kind of little pockets of blue, little pools, tidal basins, tidal pools perhaps, sand, sense of light and warmth. So yeah, I call this Amber Waves. And it's 30 by 36 again. And then the final piece I have to share with you of this collection is called Evening Echo. And this is the sense of the twilight lights kind of lighting up along the shoreline, and how the water here lets us reflect everything that's happening. So it's called Evening Echo, and it's 18 by 18, this piece. So it's a nice medium-sized piece. And then I'll just step back and share with you, this is the collection in its entirety. So Vivid Tranquility 5. So thank you for tuning in. Before I go, I just want to remind you that the next exhibition is called Elemental Sustenance. And it's a bunch of pieces that are really about how I gain my strength living here and working like a dog all summer by having beach fires and going out in my kayak. So the elements here are really an important part of how I sustain my practice. And so that show is called Elemental Sustenance, and it will be on June 21st. But also tonight, on May 24th, the first night of the auction for the Aid Support Group of Cape Cod. And I made this little video last week. Hi, I'm coming to you from a week ago when I'm about to drop off this life preserver that I painted for the AIDS support group here in Provincetown, the AIDS support group Cape Cod. And they're doing an auction of these life preservers that different artists have painted. And for mine, I decided to paint what art means to me because my lifesaver was art. So what you'll see is that it says art equals life, but it brings to life all of the tools that I use to create art. My parents met each other at the Dayton Art Institute. So because of art, I'm here. And when I was really disillusioned with my design career and decided to do something else, art is what saved the day. So art equals life. You can bid on this. I'm going to put a link here in the YouTube description so that you can get directly to the auction. It starts today and I think it runs a week or two. So put your bids in, and it's a great cause, the AIDS support group of Cape Cod. Thank you. So please support the AIDS support group and pick up that fun preserver that I worked on. And thanks again for joining in, and I will see you in June.